Okay, let's dive into the two forces that hijack every single trading decision you make: fear and greed. They're the real reason most traders fail, and they are wired directly into your brain. But let's start with a quote that honestly could save you years of frustration. One trade means nothing. So why is this so important? Because we get so wrapped up in the result of a single click. A win means you're a genius, a loss means you're a fool, and that's the emotional roller coaster we're here to get off of for good. So here's our game plan. First, we'll figure out who your real opponent is. Then, we'll meet the emotional hijackers living in your head and look at the actual science behind why we make bad decisions. And finally, the good part. We'll cover the mechanical antidote and the professional mindset of focusing on process over profits. All right, first up, let's reframe the entire problem. Because, spoiler alert, the market isn't your enemy. The real battle, the one that actually matters, is happening right between your ears. Here is the absolute key to understanding all of this. That chart you're staring at, it's not just lines and data. It's a real-time graph of mass human psychology. So you're not fighting some faceless algorithm. You're fighting the collective fear and greed of millions of people, which, of course, triggers the exact same feelings inside your own head. So now let's meet the culprits. These are the two voices that are constantly whispering in your ear, trying to grab the controls and blow up your account. And these aren't just abstract feelings, right? They manifest as specific, really destructive actions. Fear, that's what gives you FOMO, making you buy the top. Or it makes you freeze up on a perfect setup after a couple of losses. And greed, that's the voice telling you to oversize your position or to start revenge trading to get your money back. Let's get really specific here. Fear makes you chase. You see that huge green candle ripping higher, and your brain just screams, "Don't miss out!" And bam, you buy the absolute peak. Or it does the exact opposite. It paralyzes you. You've taken a few losses, your A-plus setup finally appears, and you just stare at it, too scared to click the mouse, missing the one trade that was designed to make it all back. And greed, well, greed is just as dangerous. It's that little voice whispering, "Hey, just break your rules this one time. This one's a sure thing." It convinces you to risk way too much, and after you hit a winning streak, it makes you feel like a genius, like you can't lose. So you start moving your take-profit target further and further away, right until that winning trade turns into a big fat loser. So you might be thinking, okay, I get it, I just need to be more disciplined. But it's not that simple. Let's look at the actual neuroscience, because it shows that just trying to have more willpower is a losing battle from the get-go. Think about this for a second. A staggering 90% of trading mistakes don't happen because your analysis was wrong. No. According to the Journal of Behavioral Finance, they happen when you know exactly what the right thing to do is, but your emotions take the wheel and drive you straight off a cliff. And here's the wild reason why. When you see a trade going against you, your brain literally can't tell the difference between losing money and, say, being chased by a predator. Your amygdala, the brain's ancient fear center, lights up and floods your system with cortisol. You are literally in fight-or-flight mode over a chart. And the consequence of that stress hormone spike, your prefrontal cortex, the rational, planning, smart part of your brain, its function can drop by up to 40%. It basically goes offline at the precise moment you need it the most. And on top of all that biology working against you, you're also dealing with decision fatigue. I mean, think about the sheer number of choices you have to make. When to get in, when to get out, how much to risk. It mentally drains you. And the more tired you get, the more likely you are to make a simple, impulsive mistake. So, if our brains are pretty much wired to fail under pressure, what in the world is the answer? Well, it's not about being stronger or having more willpower. It's about having a system that takes your emotional brain out of the equation entirely. This is it. This is the whole key. The only way to win this game is to completely refuse to play the emotional one. The antidote is total submission to a mechanical plan. You make all your decisions before the market opens, when you're calm and rational. Then when the market is live, you don't think, you just execute. You can think of this table as your personal pre-flight checklist. Before you click that mouse, you audit your own thinking. If your internal voice sounds like anything in that left column, that's an emotional signal. That's a red flag. You stop and you follow the instructions on the right. This is how you actually enforce that mechanical submission. And all of this builds up to our final and maybe most important section. This is the mindset shift that truly separates the amateurs from the professionals. It's all about focusing on your process, not your profits. Real professionals live by these habits. They trade a written plan, not a feeling. They treat losses as a simple cost of doing business, not a personal failure. And, most importantly, they judge their performance on how well they executed their plan, not on the outcome of the trade. A perfectly executed trade that loses money is still a huge success. Ultimately, the goal isn't to feel confident or certain about the next trade. That's just your ego talking. The real goal is to be relentlessly, even boringly, consistent in how you execute, over and over again, for the next 100 trades. Confidence comes and goes. Consistency is a system you can rely on. So I'll just leave you with this one question to ask yourself every single day before you start. Are you trading the market, or are you executing your plan? The difference in that answer? Well, that's everything.